Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Thompson. I'm 17, busting my butt in high school, dreaming of becoming a doctor someday. Sounds pretty normal, right? Wrong. Welcome to the Thompson Family Circus, where I'm the black sheep and my older sister Melissa is the golden child. Sarah, where's my blue top? I know you took it. Melissa's shrill voice echoes through the house. I roll my eyes, not even bothering to respond. I'm knee-deep in AP bio homework, and the last thing I need is another one of Melissa's drama scenes. Mom, Sarah's ignoring me again. Right on cue, our mom, Linda, shows up in my doorway, looking frazzled like always. Sarah, why can't you just answer your sister? Because I didn't take her stupid top, I mutter, not even glancing up from my textbook. Don't talk about your sister that way, Mom snaps. Just help her find it. I bite my tongue, holding back the urge to say Melissa's probably too lazy to do her own laundry. But what's the point? Mom always takes her side anyway. Later, at lunch, I'm venting to my best friend Alex. I swear, it's like living with Jekyll and Hyde at home. Melissa's little Miss Perfect, but did you hear what she told Jessica about me? Alex nods sympathetically. Yeah, that rumor about you cheating on the math test was low, even for her. You really should stand up to her, Sarah. I sigh, pushing my salad around. What's the point? Mom never believes me anyway. Just then, my phone buzzes. It's a text from Dad. Asterisk sorry kiddo, can't make it this weekend. Work emergency. Rain check asterisk. Let me guess, another no-show? Alex asks, noticing my face fall. I nod, shoving my phone back in my pocket. Third time this month. Whatever. That evening, I'm putting the final touches on my science fair project, a detailed model demonstrating the effects of climate change on marine ecosystems. I've been working on it for months, and it's my ticket to a prestigious summer internship. Wow, that looks complicated, Melissa says, leaning against my doorframe. Thanks, I reply cautiously, surprised by her sudden interest. Too bad it's so fragile, she smirks, reaching out to touch a delicate part of the model. Don't. I start, but it's too late. With a smug oops, Melissa knocks over a crucial component, sending pieces scattering across the floor. Melissa, what the hell? I shout, dropping to my knees, trying to salvage what I can. What's going on in here? Mom appears, looking between us. It was an accident. Melissa cries, putting on her best innocent act. I was just looking, and it fell apart. Sarah, you should have been more careful with it. Mom scolds, completely missing the smug look on Melissa's face. As they leave my room, I stare at the wreckage, tears of frustration welling up. This isn't just about the model. It's about my future, my dreams, and the constant battle I face in my own home. Something has to change, and soon, because I'm not sure how much more I can take. The next day, I couldn't believe my eyes. Tucked behind Melissa's dresser was a piece of my science fair project. The same piece she'd accidentally knocked over. My blood boiled as I stormed into her room, holding the evidence. What the hell is this? I demanded, waving the piece in her face. Melissa glanced up from her phone, feigning innocence. How should I know? Maybe you dropped it when you were cleaning up your mess. Cut the crap, Melissa. I know you destroyed my project on purpose. Why? What did I ever do to you? She rolled her eyes, but I wasn't going to let this slide. Oh please, little Miss Perfect with her science projects and scholarships. You make me sick, Melissa spat, her voice dripping with venom. You're unbelievable, I snapped back. Do you have any idea how hard I worked on that? It was my chance at a summer internship. Boo-hoo, cry me a river, Sarah, she sneered. That's when Mom walked in, her face a mixture of confusion and frustration. What's going on here? Why are you yelling at your sister, Sarah? I turned to her, still clutching the piece of my project like it was evidence in a trial. Mom, look at this. It proves Melissa deliberately sabotaged my project. She's been lying to you this whole time. Mom glanced at the broken piece, then back at Melissa. Is this true, honey? Melissa's eyes welled up with fake tears. Of course not. Sarah's just trying to blame me for her own clumsiness. She's always been jealous of me. I couldn't believe it. Even with proof right in front of her, Mom was buying Melissa's act. Something inside me snapped. Are you kidding me? I exploded. For years, I've put up with Melissa's bullying, her lies, her sabotage, and you've always taken her side. Always. Do you even realize what that's been like for me? Mom's eyes widened in shock. Sarah, that's enough. No, it's not enough. I cut her off, my voice trembling with anger. I'm sick of being the family punching bag. I'm sick of working my ass off only for Melissa to ruin everything. And I'm sick of you never, ever believing me. Melissa smirked, clearly enjoying the chaos. Wow, dramatic much. I whirled on her, my patience finally gone. Shut up. Just shut up, for once in your life. Sarah Thompson, Mom gasped. Go to your room right now. You're grounded for 2 months. I laughed bitterly. Of course I am. Heaven forbid Melissa faces any consequences for her actions. I stormed out, slamming the door behind me. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone and dialed Dad's number. Hey, kiddo. Everything okay? He answered. No, Dad. Nothing's okay. I choked out, fighting back tears. I can't do this anymore. Mom and Melissa. It's like I'm living in crazy town. I poured out the whole story to him, half expecting him to brush it off like he usually did. But this time was different. Sarah, I had no idea things were this bad, he said, sounding genuinely concerned. I promise, I'll look into this. Just hang in there, okay? After we hung up, I texted Alex, giving him a quick rundown of what happened. His reply came almost instantly. That's it. I'm telling my parents. Our guest room is yours if you need it. I felt a wave of relief. At least someone had my back. The next day at school, I was a mess. I couldn't focus, my mind replaying last night's confrontation over and over. As I was heading to lunch, I heard a voice call out to me. Sarah, can I see you in my office for a moment? It was Mrs. Rodriguez, the school counselor. Just what I needed. In her office, she looked at me with concern. Sarah, I've noticed you've been a little off lately. Is everything okay at home? For a moment, I considered brushing her off with a fake smile and a quick everything's fine. But I was so tired of pretending. No, I admitted, my voice small. Everything's not all right. As I filled her in on what had been happening, leaving out some of the more painful details, she listened carefully, nodding. Sarah, what you're describing sounds like a toxic home environment, she said gently. Have you thought about documenting these incidents? I blinked. You mean, like recording Melissa? Mrs. Rodriguez nodded. It might help to have concrete evidence of what's happening. But be careful, okay? That afternoon, I downloaded a voice recording app on my phone. It felt strange, like I was some kind of spy in my own home. But I was desperate. Later that night, as I was heading to the kitchen for a glass of water, I heard Mom and Melissa talking in the living room. I paused, my hand hovering over my phone. I'm worried about Sarah's college applications, Mom was saying. With her attitude lately, you know I could always help with that. Melissa's voice cut in, sly and smooth. I still have access to the school system from when I was a student aide. My blood ran cold. Were they seriously talking about sabotaging my future? I pressed record, my heart pounding. Whatever happened next, I'd be ready. The next morning, I marched straight to Mrs. Rodriguez's office, my heart racing. I knocked and peeked in. Got a minute? It's important. She waved me in, concern etched on her face. Of course, Sarah. What's going on? I pulled out my phone, my hands shaking. I recorded something last night. You need to hear this. As the conversation between Mom and Melissa played out, Mrs. Rodriguez's eyes widened. When it finished, she let out a long breath. Sarah, this is serious. We need to document everything. Can you write down all the incidents you remember? For the next hour, we worked together, creating a detailed record of Melissa's bullying and Mom's enabling behavior. It was painful to relive it all, but also, weirdly, it felt like a weight lifting off my chest. What now? I asked, staring at the pages of evidence. Now, Mrs. Rodriguez said firmly, we involve your father. This situation requires immediate action. That evening, I called Dad again, my stomach in knots. Dad, remember how I said things were bad? Well, they're worse than I thought. I sent him the recordings and the document Mrs. Rodriguez helped me create. The line was silent for a long moment after he finished reading. Sarah, I had no idea. I'm so sorry I didn't see this sooner. I'm calling my lawyer first thing in the morning. For the first time in ages, I felt a glimmer of hope. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. With help from Alex's parents, I filed for emancipation. It was terrifying, but the alternative was scarier. To support my case for emancipation, I needed a job. I applied at the local clinic and landed an interview with Dr. Jenkins. So Sarah, why are you interested in working here? She asked, peering over her glasses. I took a deep breath. Honestly, I want to be a doctor someday. This job would be a stepping stone toward that dream. Dr. Jenkins smiled. I like your ambition. When can you start? Meanwhile, it seemed like the universe was finally on my side. Out of nowhere, Melissa's ex-boyfriend, Jake, approached me at school. Hey Sarah, I heard about what's going on with you and Melissa. There's something you should know, he said, his tone serious. Jake spilled the beans about Melissa's past schemes, including how she'd manipulated him into helping her cheat on exams. It was like the final piece of the puzzle falling into place. At home, the tension was thick. Mom was facing heat at work. Apparently, her constant phone calls to deal with Melissa's drama hadn't gone unnoticed. But I kept my head down, focusing on my studies and my new job. One afternoon, as I was leaving the clinic, Dr. Jenkins called me over. Sarah, I've been impressed with your work ethic. Would you be interested in shadowing me this summer? I couldn't believe my ears. Are you serious? That would be amazing. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was Alex. Sarah, you need to come over now. When I arrived at Alex's house, his parents were waiting for me. Sarah, honey, Alex's mom said gently, we've been talking, and we think it might be best if you stay with us for a while. Just until things settle down. I felt a lump in my throat. Are you sure? I don't want to be a burden. You could never be a burden, Alex's dad assured me. Pack a bag. You're family now. The day of my emancipation hearing arrived faster than I expected. As I stood before the judge, my hands shaking slightly, I felt a surge of strength. Your Honor, I'm here today because I believe emancipation is my best chance at a stable, healthy future. I laid out my case, the job at the clinic, my academic achievements, the support system I had in Alex's family and Mrs. Rodriguez. When I finished, the judge nodded thoughtfully. Based on the evidence presented, I hereby grant the petition for emancipation. Miss Thompson, I wish you the best of luck. The gavel came down, and just like that, I was legally an adult. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. As I was leaving the courthouse, I overheard Mom on her phone, her voice panicked. What do you mean I'm under investigation? This has to be a mistake. Turns out Melissa had been using Mom's work computer to alter school records, not just mine, but other students too. The company wasn't happy about the misuse of resources. Speaking of Melissa, her house of cards was finally tumbling down. Jake's revelation about her cheating triggered an investigation at her college. Last I heard, she was facing academic probation. Meanwhile, I was thriving. Dr. Jenkins' recommendation helped me land a prestigious scholarship. As I read the acceptance letter, I couldn't help but think how different things might have been if Melissa had succeeded in sabotaging my applications. One afternoon, as I was leaving the clinic, I ran into Mom. She looked different, tired, defeated. Sarah, I owe you an apology, she said quietly. I should have listened to you. I should have. I cut her off. It's a little late for that, don't you think? You made your choice. Now we both have to live with it. Now I have a question for you. Is it ever okay to cut ties with toxic family members, even if it means leaving a parent behind? What would you have done in Sarah's shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and opinions might help others facing similar situations.